Welcome back to the Expensive Coins History channel, coin collectors and history lovers. In today's episode, we're going to examine one of the most discussed yet misunderstood coins among modern Russian numismatics, the 2005 5-kopeck coin that appears to have no mint mark. Some say it's a rare treasure, others dismiss it as a common error. So, what's the truth? Could a tiny piece of metal worth just 5 kopecks actually be worth hundreds or even thousands? Let's dive deep into its background, its production history, why this no-mint mark version is sparking debate, and what its current market value looks like in 2025. The 5-kopeck coin has a long-standing place in Russian monetary history. Even during the Imperial and Soviet periods, the 5 kopecks was a well-known and widely circulated denomination. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, the Russian Federation began issuing new coinage, and by the early 2000s, the 5 kopeck coin had become a staple of everyday transactions. The 2005 issue was no exception. It was struck in vast quantities and distributed throughout the Russian Federation. The coin itself is made of copper-nickel-plated steel, giving it a dull silver appearance. On the obverse, it features the double-headed eagle without a crown, wings spread wide, a modern symbol of the Russian Federation. On the reverse, the denomination 5 is written in Cyrillic, with the year 2005 clearly inscribed below. Typically, underneath the year, one can see a small mint mark, identifying whether the coin was struck in Moscow or St. Petersburg. These mint marks are a tiny but vital part of the coin's identity, helping numismatists and collectors trace the origin and sometimes the rarity of specific issues. However, in some rare instances, coins appear with no visible mint mark at all, leading to questions about their origin and potential value. In a standard production run, every coin must include a mint mark. It is applied as part of the die, and its absence is not supposed to happen. Therefore, when collectors encounter a 2005 5-kopeck coin without a mint mark, it raises immediate curiosity. Was this a minting error? Was it a trial piece? Or could it be a counterfeit, a damaged coin, or simply the result of wear? The mystery lies in the fact that both Moscow and St. Petersburg mints were producing coins in 2005, and both were required to include identifying mint marks. The mint mark is usually a single Cyrillic letter or a small abbreviation placed just below the year or near the base of the design. But the no mint mark variant shows a clean surface, sometimes slightly raised or worn, but with no identifying symbol at all. There are several possible explanations. The first is that it is an error coin, struck from a defective or over-polished die where the mint mark was accidentally omitted. This is a known phenomenon in coin production, especially when dies are cleaned aggressively or improperly maintained. Another possibility is that the mint mark simply wore off due to circulation or post-mint damage. This is especially common in coins that have been heavily used or exposed to abrasion, soil, or corrosion. The third, and most intriguing, possibility is that a very small number of these coins were struck intentionally without a mint mark, possibly as test strikes, emergency issues, or in a transitional die phase. If true, such coins could represent a rare and undocumented variety. Because the no mint mark variant is not officially listed in most standard coin catalogs, its rarity is not well documented. That hasn't stopped collectors and enthusiasts from speculating. In online forums and private collections, photos have emerged of coins with clear 2005 dates but without any visible mint mark. Some collectors insist they are genuine mint errors. Others argue they are simply worn or altered coins with no special numismatic value. Still, in the world of coin collecting, rarity often breeds demand. If a coin is perceived to be a genuine mint error or an undocumented variety, it can attract attention even in the absence of formal recognition. This is particularly true for modern coins, where variations are few and far between compared to older, hand-struck currency. The debate continues. Some collectors have sent these coins to grading services or numismatic experts for authentication. In a few cases, the coins have been encapsulated and graded as no mint mark varieties or as mint errors, increasing their desirability. But without official mint documentation or wide catalog recognition, these coins remain in a kind of numismatic limbo, simultaneously rare and controversial. So, the big question: how much is a 2005 no mint Mark 5 Kopek coin worth in 2025? For regular, well-circulated 2005 5 Kopek coins with visible mint marks, the value remains minimal, usually just a few cents, perhaps more if in uncirculated or proof condition. These coins were minted in large numbers and remain common in the hands of collectors and the general public. However, when it comes to the elusive no mint mark variant, things get more interesting. In 2025, these coins can sometimes fetch between $5 and $50 in private sales or online auctions, depending on condition, clarity of the missing mint mark, and the credibility of the seller. A coin with sharp features and a clearly missing mint mark, free from post-mint damage or wear, can command a premium from collectors hunting rare modern errors. Graded specimens, especially those certified by reputable grading companies, may go for significantly more. In some rare cases, if the coin is verified as an authentic mint error with full original luster and strong eye appeal, prices can reach or exceed $100, though this is exceptional and not guaranteed. It is important to remember, however, that pricing in numismatics is not always rational or consistent. It often depends on trends, collector interest, and perceived scarcity rather than hard data. While the no mint mark 2005 5 Kopek coin might not yet be officially recognized as a distinct variety, the growing awareness around it in 2025 is beginning to push demand slowly upward. The 2005 no mint mark Russian 5 Kopek coin is a curious and mysterious piece. It sits at the crossroads of modern minting precision and human error. Whether it is a legitimate mint error, a transitional strike, or merely a case of post-mint wear, it has captured the imagination of collectors and sparked lively discussion in numismatic circles. For those who may have one in their collection, it is worth taking a closer look. Use a magnifying glass, examine the area around the date, and determine whether the coin is truly missing a mint mark or simply worn. If you believe you have a genuine mint error, consider having it examined by a professional or sending it to a grading service. And who knows, you may be holding a modern rarity worth far more than its face value suggests. As with all coins, value is ultimately determined by what someone is willing to pay. And in the ever-changing world of coin collecting, even the smallest details can make the biggest difference. The 2006 China 5 Jiao coin, particularly the version with no visible mint mark. You may have heard rumors about this coin being worth a lot of money, or maybe you've even seen it listed for surprisingly high prices online. But what's the truth behind this modern coin? Is it rare? Is it collectible? Is it actually valuable in 2025? Let's break it all down in detail, from the coin's history and design to its scarcity, collector appeal, and market value today. Let's begin by understanding what the 2006 5 Jiao coin is. This coin belongs to the renminbi system, which is the official currency of the People's Republic of China. The denomination, jiao, is equivalent to 1/10 of a yuan, so 5 jiao equals half a yuan. It's a commonly used coin, mostly found in circulation throughout mainland China. The 5 jiao coin issued in 2006 is made of brass-plated steel, giving it a golden yellow appearance with a subtle metallic sheen. It has a diameter of roughly 20.5 millimeters and weighs approximately 3.8 grams. On the obverse side, you'll find the number 5 prominently displayed, representing the denomination. It is accompanied by the word Wu Jiao in Chinese characters, and below that is the year, 2006. The reverse side displays the name of the Central Bank of China, the People's Bank of China, written in Chinese, along with a beautifully designed chrysanthemum flower, symbolizing nobility and elegance in Chinese culture. What makes this coin slightly unusual in collector circles is that it does not feature any visible mint mark. Unlike many coins from other countries that display where they were minted, such as P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, or S for San Francisco, Chinese coins generally do not carry mint marks, especially modern circulating issues. So the absence of a mint mark on the 2006 5 Jiao is not an error or a rarity in itself, but simply consistent with the country's minting standards. The 5 Jiao coin has been a regular part of China's circulating coinage since the early 1990s, replacing earlier aluminum and copper-nickel issues with more durable and cost-effective brass-plated steel. The year 2006 marked just another installment in a long line of yearly issues. However, not every year has the same mintage volume. While official mintages are not always disclosed in full detail, numismatic evidence and collector reports suggest that the 2006 issue had a moderately lower production run compared to surrounding years. It wasn't rare by any means, but it also wasn't as heavily minted as coins from, say, 2004 or 2007. As a result, the 2006 5 Jiao has started to attract attention in collector markets, especially among people interested in modern Chinese coinage. The coin entered circulation and was used in everyday transactions across China, making it relatively easy to find in circulated grades, but much harder to locate in pristine, uncirculated condition. Coins that remained untouched, free from scratches or wear, and that retained their original luster are today considered premium finds. Now let's address the idea of rarity. The 2006 no mint mark 5 Jiao coin is not considered rare in the traditional numismatic sense. Millions were minted and circulated across China. However, rarity is not always about low mintage. Sometimes, coins become valuable due to relative scarcity, especially when combined with collector demand, historical interest, and condition sensitivity. In the case of the 2006 5 Jiao, what makes it appealing to collectors is the growing interest in modern Chinese coins, especially among younger collectors and international enthusiasts who are exploring non-Western currencies. As China's global economic influence continues to grow, its currency and coinage have gained visibility and collector value on the international stage. What also plays a role is condition. High-grade examples of the 2006 5 Jiao, particularly those in mint state or proof-like finish, are much harder to find than well-circulated ones. The brass plating on these coins is prone to scratching and discoloration, which means uncirculated examples that have been properly preserved in holders or albums can fetch a premium. Additionally, some collectors look for varieties or errors in these coins. While the standard 2006 coin has no mint mark, a few examples may exhibit slight die shifts, off-center strikes, or planchet imperfections. While such errors are rare, they do exist and can significantly boost the coin's market appeal. Let's now focus on the core of today's topic, the current market value of the 2006 5 Jiao coin in 2025. If you walk into a coin shop or search online auctions, you'll find that circulated examples of the 2006 5 Jiao typically sell for a small premium over face value. In most cases, heavily worn examples will fetch between 30 cents and 50 cents, depending on condition and seller. These prices reflect the general collector interest, not any significant scarcity. Coins in better grades, such as very fine or extremely fine, can command values between 50 cents and $1. Once you move into the uncirculated category, especially coins with brilliant luster and no visible wear, prices can jump to between $1.50 and $3. Coins that have been professionally graded by third-party grading services like NGC or PCGS and have received a grade of MS-65 or higher can sometimes reach the $5 to $7 range, especially if sold to the right buyer or at a well-attended auction. It's important to note that some sellers may list this coin at higher prices, even as high as $10 or more. Often in cases where the coin is presented in a display case, comes with a certificate of authenticity, or is part of a collector bundle. However, actual sale prices tend to be more modest. The value of a coin is ultimately determined by what someone is willing to pay for it, and in 2025, the realistic value of a standard, no-error, ungraded 2006 5-jiao coin is somewhere between 30 cents and $3, depending on its condition. So the question becomes, should you sell it, keep it, or collect more? If you're sitting on a few circulated 2006 5-jiao coins, you're unlikely to make a fortune. But if you enjoy modern Chinese coins, or if you're building a date set of 5-jiao issues, this coin is a necessary addition. It's affordable, visually attractive, and historically representative of China's early 21st century coinage. If you have a coin in uncirculated condition, especially one that's been stored away in a capsule or album since it was minted, it may be worth holding on to. These coins could appreciate slightly over the next decade, particularly as more collectors take interest in modern Chinese series, and if you come across an error coin or a proof-like specimen, then you might want to get it appraised or graded. Such coins can sometimes draw strong interest from collectors, both in China and abroad. So, is the 2006 no-mint mark China 5-jiao coin worth a lot of money? In most cases, no, but that doesn't mean it has no value. It carries cultural and historical significance, modest collector appeal, and occasional surprises in the form of pristine examples or error coins. It represents a transitional period in Chinese coinage, combining traditional values with modern design, and its golden color makes it a standout in any collection. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just getting started, the 2006 5-jiao coin is a great piece to study and understand. It may not be a jackpot, but it's certainly more than just pocket change. We're taking a deep dive into a mysterious and highly sought-after piece of British currency, the 1996 Queen Elizabeth II £1 coin, specifically the version without a mint mark that features a very specific and extremely rare minting error involving the edge inscription, Decus et to Tamen. Now, what if I told you that this humble £1 coin, struck in the mid-1990s, could be worth up to several £100s today? What if I told you that something as seemingly insignificant as the orientation of a Latin phrase on its edge could be the key to unlocking that hidden value? Stay tuned as we explore everything you need to know about this coin, its origin, historical background, detailed design, the nature of the minting error, its rarity, and what collectors are paying for it in the market right now in 2025. The year was 1996. Britain was still using the round pound, a coin that had been introduced in the early 1980s. This was long before the modern 12-sided bimetallic £1 coins we use today. Back then, each year the design on the reverse of the coin changed to represent one of the four nations that make up the United Kingdom. In 1996, the design honored Northern Ireland. The reverse of the coin featured a bold and intricate Celtic cross surrounded by a ring of pimpernel flowers, representing both spiritual and natural heritage. This powerful design was created to symbolize the unity, resilience, and historic identity of Northern Ireland, and was part of a larger series that celebrated the UK's cultural diversity. On the obverse of the coin, as was customary during the era, was a right-facing portrait of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. This was the third portrait of the Queen used on British coinage, designed by Raphael Maklauf. It's the image many of us grew up seeing, regal, composed, and instantly recognizable, the coin was minted in large numbers. Tens of millions were struck for circulation. But among them, a handful of coins left the mint with something unusual, something collectors today are scrambling to find. Now, before we get to the error itself, we need to understand the edge of the coin. Unlike most coins which have a milled or plain edge, the British £1 coins of this era featured an inscribed edge. The phrase etched into the rim was "Decus et tutamen," a Latin motto that translates to "an ornament and a safeguard." This inscription was originally used on coins centuries ago as both a decorative element and a practical security measure. It served as a defense against clipping, the practice of shaving small amounts of precious metal from the edge of coins to accumulate illicit profits. While modern coins are no longer made of silver or gold, the tradition of using edge lettering remained, giving the coin a unique feel and helping to prevent counterfeiting. Normally, this inscription is aligned in a consistent orientation relative to the rest of the coin. When you hold the coin with the Queen's portrait facing you, the lettering on the edge should be readable in a specific direction, but in the case of the error we're discussing today, that inscription was stamped the wrong way. Now let's get into the heart of the mystery. The error. In a small number of 1996 Queen Elizabeth II £1 coins, the edge inscription "Decus et tutamen" was applied upside down. That means, instead of being readable from the side of the coin showing the Queen's portrait, it is only legible when you rotate the coin and look at it from the reverse side, the side featuring the Celtic cross. This might sound like a minor detail, but in the world of numismatics, the study and collection of currency, this is a significant minting anomaly. It is considered an error because it breaks the standard orientation rules followed during production. This kind of error occurs when the collar die, the part of the minting machinery that impresses the edge lettering, is misaligned or rotated during the striking process. Since these machines are precise and quality control is rigorous, such misalignments are very rare, especially for a coin struck in the tens of millions, but when it does happen, the result is a coin that is technically unique, and often extremely valuable to collectors. To add another layer of intrigue, these error coins also appear to lack any visible mint mark. While many coins struck in specific facilities carry a small identifying mark to show where they were minted, these particular 1996 £1 coins do not. The absence of a mint mark on an error coin enhances its potential rarity and makes it even more desirable to serious collectors. A no mint mark error coin featuring an inverted edge inscription becomes a perfect storm of anomalies, creating a piece that is extremely difficult to find in the wild and seldom offered for sale on the open market. So, the big question: how much is this coin actually worth today? In 2025, the numismatic market continues to see strong interest in error coins. As digital communities, auction platforms, and social media make it easier for collectors to share finds and sell pieces directly to buyers, prices for rare coins have been steadily rising. Circulated versions of the 1996 Queen Elizabeth II £1 coin with the upside-down "Decus et tutamen" inscription typically fetch between £40 to £80, depending on wear and general condition. However, if the coin is in exceptionally good condition, with minimal wear, strong edge definition, and all details crisp and clear, the value can increase dramatically. Coins that are uncirculated or have been professionally graded can sell for between £150 and £300. Some listings, especially those that are professionally graded or accompanied by documentation confirming the error, have reached prices of £400 or more. In rare instances, collectors with deep pockets and a specific interest in minting anomalies have paid upwards of £500 for pristine examples. It's important to remember that price can vary widely depending on how the coin is presented, its condition, its packaging, and the interest level of bidders at the time of sale. But the demand is absolutely real, and so is the value. If you think you might have one of these coins in your collection or you stumble upon one in old change, there are a few ways to confirm whether it is indeed the valuable error version. First, inspect the edge of the coin carefully. Hold the coin with the Queen's portrait facing up. Now rotate the edge towards you and try to read the inscription. If the phrase Decus et Titamen is upside down or only legible from the reverse side, you may be holding an error coin. Check the condition. The more details are preserved, the higher the coin's potential value. Next, verify the authenticity. Be cautious of post-mint tampering or fakes. If you're in doubt, consider submitting your coin to a professional grading service. They can authenticate and encapsulate the coin, adding official documentation and enhancing its resale value. So there you have it. A small, round pound coin from 1996. On the surface, it looks like any other piece of pocket change from the past. But hidden in its edge lies a secret, a minting error, a Latin phrase upside down, a missing mint mark, all of which combine to turn this coin into a collector's dream. It's a perfect example of how the smallest detail can transform something ordinary into something extraordinary. For numismatists, it's not just about face value, it's about history, rarity, and the thrill of discovery. If you've got one of these coins lying around in a drawer or tucked into an old wallet, now might be the perfect time to take a closer look. Who knows? You might just be holding a tiny piece of history worth far more than £1. The 1999 France €1 coin, specifically the variety with no mint mark. What makes this coin interesting to collectors? Why are some people claiming it's worth hundreds of euros? And what is its actual market value today, in 2025? Let's take a deep dive into its history, specifications, mintage, collectability, and the truth about its current value. To understand the context of this coin, we must first step back to the historic monetary transformation that swept across Europe at the turn of the millennium. In 1999, the euro was introduced as a digital accounting currency, with physical notes and coins set to follow in 2002. However, euro coins for several countries were already being minted by 1999 to prepare for full circulation. France, one of the founding members of the Eurozone, began striking euro coins in 1999. That year, all 8 denominations were produced, from the modest 1 cent to the prestigious €2 coin. The €1 coin, being the smallest in both value and size, often went unnoticed. But for numismatists, every coin tells its own tale. The 1999 France €1 coin marked the beginning of a new era for the French mint. The coin features a national design on one side and a common European design on the reverse. This was not just small change, it was a symbol of unity, identity, and modern European integration. The 1999 French €1 coin is made of copper-plated steel, giving it a reddish-brown appearance that can darken over time due to oxidation. It has a diameter of 16.25 mm and a thickness of 1.67 mm, weighing 2.30 grams. Its edge is smooth, without any reading or inscription. The obverse, or national side, was designed by Fabien Courchiade, and features Marianne, a symbol of the French Republic since the Revolution. Her profile is modern and idealized, framed by the 12 stars of the European Union. The design exudes liberty, democracy, and a forward-looking vision. The reverse, common to all 1 cent euro coins across the Eurozone, shows a globe with the European Union highlighted, intersected by 6 diagonal lines and 12 stars. It was designed by Luc Luyx of the Royal Belgian Mint. This side represents unity and Europe's position on the global stage. The term no mint mark often causes confusion. French euro coins typically include a small mint mark indicating the issuing mint. However, in the case of most 1999 €1 coins, the mint mark is either extremely small or poorly struck, leading some collectors to believe they have a special or error coin. In reality, the vast majority of 1999 French €1 coins do not feature a visible or easily identifiable mint mark, not because they are rare, but because of how the coin dies were designed and the small size of the mark itself. What some perceive as a no mint mark error is in most cases simply a regular strike with a weak or obscured mark due to circulation wear or die degradation. As for actual mint errors or missing mint marks due to manufacturing faults, those are extremely rare, and there is no verified evidence of such a variety being officially catalogued. The total mintage of the 1999 French €1 is well over 700 million pieces. That places it among the most heavily produced euro coins of that year, making it extremely common in circulation. Despite its abundance, the 1999 France €1 coin continues to stir excitement in online marketplaces. Why? Largely due to misinterpretation, speculation, and, in some cases, misleading listings on auction platforms. It is not uncommon to see listings claiming that this coin is rare, unique, or even an investment piece. Some sellers attempt to market the so-called no mint mark version as a valuable error, attaching inflated prices in the range of hundreds of euros or dollars. However, such claims do not reflect the reality of the numismatic market. Professional coin collectors and experienced dealers generally agree that the coin is common, with no official varieties that drastically alter its value. Unless the coin features a legitimate and verifiable minting error, such as an off-center strike, double die, or planchet defect, it is unlikely to hold significant value beyond its face value or modest collector interest. Now let's address the question on every collector's mind. What is this coin actually worth today, as of 2025? A typical 1999 France €1 coin in circulated condition is worth approximately 1 cent. This means it holds no premium over its face value. Even in uncirculated or mint state condition, the value increases only slightly, generally ranging between 2 and 5 euro cents. In exceptional cases, such as a coin graded MS-65 or higher by a reputable grading service, it might fetch up to €1 or slightly more. But such cases are the exception, not the norm. Even coins still in original mint rolls or official collector sets from 1999 do not command high prices. At most, a full French euro coin set from 1999 in pristine condition might be worth under €10, with the 1 cent coin being the least significant contributor to that value. Therefore, any listing attempting to sell a single 1999 France 1 cent coin for hundreds of euros is either speculative, misinformed, or misleading. So, is the 1999 French 1 cent coin rare? The answer is no, at least not in the conventional sense. Rarity in numismatics is determined not just by the age of a coin or the visibility of a mint mark, but by mintage numbers, surviving condition, and genuine production errors. The 1999 issue is neither scarce nor particularly desirable for collectors, except perhaps as part of a complete euro cent year set. While it may hold some historical interest as part of the first wave of euro coins, this does not translate into high market value. Its true value lies in its symbolism and educational use, a piece of modern European history and a reminder of the continent's economic transformation at the end of the 20th century. The 1999 France €1 coin with no visible mint mark is a common coin with enormous mintage, minimal collector demand, and a current market value in 2025 that hovers around face value. It is not rare, it is not highly valuable, and it is certainly not the next big numismatic treasure, despite what some may claim online. However, every coin has a story. And for this small copper-plated disc, that story is one of economic union, modern history, and the ambition of a continent coming together under a single currency. Thank you for joining us on this numismatic journey. If you found this video helpful or informative, please consider liking, subscribing, and turning on notifications. We publish new content every week exploring coins, banknotes, and the hidden history inside your pocket change, and remember, it's not always about the money, it's about the story.